This podcast is graciously supported by our friends at Howie's Market, a neighborhood grocer that's been around since 1960. Longevity and quality meat at Howie's Market, a full-service specialty grocery store, the finest wine and spirits, the best and freshest produce, fish brought in every single day, a meat department named the best by Los Angeles Magazine. Besides being a wonderful market to do your shopping, Howie's barbecues every single weekend, rain or shine. Tri-tip sandwiches, half chickens, a variety of sausages, smoked baby back ribs, and the best all-beef hot dogs. Howie's Market, located conveniently in the heart of San Gabriel at 6580 North San Gabriel Boulevard. Howie's Market, I mean it when I say it. I'll see you there. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the fellowship. My name is Adam Hawk. My co-host is the CEO and founder of Nation Golf. His name is Ryan Engle. Our apologies for running a few days late. Monday was a holiday that quite literally celebrates the American workforce getting a day off. So we took that day off, and on Tuesday, I schlepp it up to Los Angeles, California to work my other gig. So here we are.
Guess what day it is?
Hump Day.
Hump Day?
Wednesday.
Grinding it out on an iPod broadcast. And let me say off the top, a happy 1 day late birthday to a loyal listener of the podcast, a Nation Classic gal, and just one of the best people you will ever meet. Happy birthday to the great Lindsay Wrighton.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, is there a sweeter woman than Lindsay? Is there? Thomas, you're a lucky man. Aren't we all lucky?
Yes.
Because we all kind of, in our own way, we all kind of suck a little bit.
Well, I'll tell you both how I suck and how I am lucky right now. Last night, Tuesday night, my wife is in the kids' bedroom reading them a story because she is such a good mother.
You never help out with reading time or help put your kids to bed? Ever? Really?
They want their mom.
Oh, yeah. Do they want their mom or do you want the top dog chair?
Anyways. She's in the room reading to the kids. We have a cat in the house. The cat is named Griffey, named after my dad, Ken Griffey Jr. The cat clearly sees something on the ground and runs over to it, chases it under the chair, and I am just wondering, oh my gosh, what is that thing the cat is chasing? I go into the kids' room, and I tell my wife, mid-story, I think you want to come out and perhaps lift up this seat and see what's under it. Because, of course, if it's some sort of bug, I'm not going to do it myself. She's a little angry at me that I still, at the age of 37, cannot handle these things on my own. It's unspoken between us, but I am fearing for the worst. I am fearing that it is a cucaracha. And so I stand back with a chancla in hand. Are you familiar with the term chancla?
I am not.
That is Spanish slang for flip-flop or sandal. And I am armed, but I am a good 15 to 20 feet away.
Was it a Fila slide?
Yes.
Adam Hawk single-handedly bringing Fila back in the game.
Put a bookmark in that because that is worth talking about. I then watch her lift up the seat. I turn away. Apparently, a cucaracha did run out, and she smacked it into the afterlife. And then had to clean it up off of the bottom of the chancla, which was my other Fila slide, and dispose of it and disinfect the part of the floor that the cucaracha was on. Now, I tell this story because I do want the listener to know that, yes, I am a grown man. Yes, I went into my kids' bedtime routine and disrupted it so my wife could come on out and kill a bug. So when you say, aren't we all lucky because don't we all suck? I would agree with both of those sentiments.
I would just say that Mina's probably the most unlucky one of all.
Yeah.
That's what I would say.
So you mentioned the Fila slides. A couple of years ago, I texted you and Rye Monson a pair of Fila slides that I had just picked up from the shoe factory. Are you familiar with the shoe factory?
Yep.
And I told you and Rye that I am single-handedly bringing Fila back because I have seen in my lifetime
Guess who's back?
Stussy
Good.
and Champion both come back. And I thought to myself, no one's on Fila yet. I'll be the first. Still have not seen Fila come back at all.
No.
But those slides, pretty good cockroach killers.
Okay.
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 Are you ready for the worst 6-word sentence ever concocted?
Oh, God. Let's hear it.
Listener discretion advised. Here we go. Golf is over. Football is here.
Wow.
It is well documented on this show that we don't like football. We might be the only two grown American men that don't like football. So I'm not going to rehash the take.
I wouldn't say I don't like football. I would just say that the NFL is a joke. You know what's been cute watching over the weekend on the few number 2 death scrolls, looking at stuff that is just a waste of your fucking time.
What is a number 2
When you're
death
taking
scroll?
a crap.
Gross.
You see all these guys like, oh, having our draft party.
Oh, the fantasy football
Yeah,
draft party.
the fantasy guys are coming out of the woodworks.
In the spirit of the NFL season, which I am told starts tomorrow, I want to read you something that I found over Labor Day weekend when I was cleaning out my email inbox. Before I get there, you already led me into this topic when you brought up fantasy football. Did you ever play fantasy football?
Not once.
Never.
Never.
I played the last 8 years, and I've been to these draft parties that you're talking about. And we've done them over Zoom. We've gone and met in the desert. We've gone to Vegas. We did the entire fantasy football dork circuit.
Is there a greater waste of time than what you're speaking about right now? My future brother-in-law, they're not married yet.
Oh, I brought that up at the party, and I think I shouldn't have.
Struck a chord?
Well, I congratulated your current sister-in-law and future brother-in-law on their engagement because I had not seen them since they got engaged.
What did they do? Give you an evil look or something?
Well, I asked the question that you shouldn't have asked, which
When's
is
the wedding?
Yeah.
What, were you fishing for an invite? Hey, when's the wedding? Don't have kids. Get your sleep. You have any other great advice you could have gave him? My future brother-in-law, shout out to Rye Guy. We call him Cousin Rye. I'm talking to him last year this time about this because he's in like 4 fucking fantasy football leagues. I'm picking his brain at dinner. I'm like, I got to understand. You got to coach me through this. What is this all about? This and that. Because he's glued to the games on Sunday. He's got to switch from this one to that one to this one to that one because he's got all these different players on his teams. And I get the concept of it. But what I was trying to get to was the financial side of it. How much is this league? Okay. How much is this league? Okay. So you're invested X amount. What do you win if you get first? Okay, you're going to win this much. And it's over the course of what's the NFL season? 18 weeks now? The money in X amount, you win $400 or something like that. So you're investing hours and hours on Sunday every week to make $10 a week, $10 a game. Instead of doing all that nonsense, wouldn't it be better to just get a bookie like a grown man and bet $50 a game on Sunday, try to actually win some real money? Because spending all that time and going to a draft party, going to the championship dinner with your guys, or renting a fucking house somewhere to go celebrate this stupid thing, and it's all for what, a few $100 over 18 weeks? What is worth a few $100 over 18 weeks?
A sponsorship deal from Howie's Market on the podcast.
That's what I'm saying. That is why it is a colossal waste of time and, quite frankly, The biggest waste of time. There hasn't been a bigger waste of time than this waste of time that we're seeing right now.
I walked in. I said, wow, what a big waste of time.
Lot of waste of time, people.
I think people play fantasy football to keep them interested in something that is inherently uninteresting. I think people play because they want to think that they're good at something that just involves an insane amount of luck. Fantasy football is a total crapshoot. So there's gambling, there's camaraderie, there's friendship, there's shit talk. A lot of people watched the FX show The League back in the day and thought, wow, these guys are my heroes. I want to be just like them. And it's in the cultural zeitgeist. And I quit my league. This is the first year that I have not played in 8 years. And what I want to read to you...
I quit!
...is my retirement speech, because I am me and I have a flair for the dramatic. So, of course, I couldn't just say, hey, guys, I'm done.
Didn't you start the league?
Yes. That's part of the reason why it took me so long to quit, because I was the glue guy.
Yeah, you're not good at quitting. So that surprises me.
Not good at saying no, but I finally worked up the courage to do it, and I wrote a retirement speech. I posted it to our Slack channel. I had it in my email inbox.
You had a Slack for your league?
Yes.
Oh, my God, dude.
Tell you what, beats the hell out of a group text.
It's the same thing.
Well, you can ignore Slack. It's hard to ignore text messages that are going off 10,000 times every Sunday in real time for plays that you're not watching.
God.
Would you like to hear the speech?
Yeah, please do it.
Okay. Stick with it, okay? Here is the speech when I retired from my league. Gentlemen, as a founding member of the league, it gives me a bittersweet feeling to announce that this will be my final year playing fantasy football. Trust me when I tell you, it's not you, it's football. I hate it with a passion that I cannot curb. I hate it to the point of it being unhealthy for my well-being, and I hate it more than I love my children. I don't know if it's Ray Rice punching his fiancée and dragging her out of an elevator, Tyreek Hill beating his pregnant girlfriend and hitting his son to the point where the little boy needed to go to the hospital. I don't know if it's Deshaun Watson making Harvey Weinstein look like a saint and then getting rewarded with a bidding war that netted him the largest contract in NFL history. I don't know if it's Greg Hardy throwing a woman on a pile of guns, or a Seahawks kicker beating his wife, or a Raiders wide receiver getting drunk and crashing into a woman at 100 miles per hour, killing her and her dog, and permanently ruining the lives of her loved ones. I don't know if it's John Gruden's racist and homophobic emails. I don't know if it's the NFL taking money from the military to wave a 100-yard flag that doesn't stand for anything when they don't even allow peaceful protests on their fields. I don't know if it's Junior Seau committing suicide because he had CTE and the NFL covered it up, or if it's Robert Kraft soliciting sex workers on camera and not doing a single day in jail. I don't know if it's because of Tom Brady getting $800 million in COVID protection money for his businesses, or the fact that billionaires will threaten to move out of cities if the taxpayers don't pay for their new stadium. I don't know if it's because the 1 hour of gameplay takes an average of 3 hours and 12 minutes to complete, or if it's because in those 3 hours and 12 minutes, there are only 11 minutes of action compared to 20 commercial breaks and 100 minutes of advertisements. Or if it's because there are 17 minutes of replay, which are 8 more minutes than actual action time. And before you question my numbers, all these stats are according to the Wall Street Journal. Maybe it's the fact that the Washington Commanders' investigation of workplace misconduct will never be released. Maybe it's Patrick Mahomes' idiot brother doing a TikTok dance on Sean Taylor's grave. Maybe it's Jerry Jones getting caught with hookers and blow and Jim Irsay being a pillhead and Stan Kroenke being a tax evader. Maybe it's Roger Goodell making $48 million a year to lie to everyone all of the time. Maybe it's the grown men guzzling Bud Light and hailing wings and fighting each other in the stands. Maybe it's the fact that if the Red Zone channel didn't exist and fantasy and gambling weren't a thing, that no one would watch this product because it is the absolute worst. It's a bad game played by bad people, paid for by bad owners, and lapped up like crack by a mass of this country who refuses to just slightly open their eyes and admit that this doesn't just suck, it's actually evil. You've got racism, sexism, homophobia, violence, greed, lies, cover-ups, and murderers. Yeah, I said it, murderers. Ray Caruth, O.J. Simpson, Aaron Hernandez ring a bell? The fact that human beings, especially fathers with daughters or brothers with sisters or sons with moms or people with minority friends actually like this toxic cesspool is beyond me. I cannot believe that I am in such a small camp in this country. Like I said, I hate the NFL and football with every fiber of my being. Thinking about it for just a second sends acid up my throat, and I cannot take it anymore. I thought that quitting my job in sports and nuking my own Twitter and Instagram would be enough, but it's not, and so I have to leave our fantasy football league. Let it be known that I love you guys like brothers, and this decision wasn't easy, but I cannot tolerate any more of it past this year. I'll play it out and have as much fun as I can, but I must retire from the league to save my sanity and to be on the right side of history. When I die and you are at my funeral, I demand that you tell everyone that I hated the NFL before everyone else did, and that I was ahead of the curve, and that I was right and everyone should have listened because I am right and you should have listened. The NFL is evil. You are all complicit. Thank you, Adam Hawk.
Oh, man. All these grown men with replica jerseys and some other man's name on their back are really going to come after you with pitchforks. You're going to be like the next golf push cart guy, dude. They're all coming for you. Look, when you're in it, you can't see past it.
Exactly.
And I am so thankful that I do not wish to waste my Sundays watching that product. There are so many things that I would rather do on a Sunday than watch football. My God. Well said, Adam.
Thank you.
Yeah, I wonder how many guys are going to head on over to the Wall Street Journal and try to pick apart those numbers.
Yeah. So, the 6-word sentence, golf is over, football is here. Truly the worst sentence ever concocted. Speaking of golf being over, golf is over. The FedEx Cup Playoffs wrapped up this past Sunday. Colin Morikawa is your winner, except he's not, because you can shoot the lowest gross total over 4 days at East Lake, and thanks to the dumbest format known to mankind, somebody else with a head start in strokes can win. This is absolutely no fault of Scotty Scheffler's, nor should he apologize for it. He didn't make the rules, and I will remind you that before the St. Jude, the first leg of the 3-leg playoffs, Scotty Scheffler went in front of the world with a microphone on and called the entire thing silly.
I think it's silly.
So it's not like he's out here defending the format. He went out with his lead, ended up, quote-unquote, winning the tournament, and that's that. He's your FedEx Cup winner. He was the best player this season, so in a way that worked out. My biggest qualm with the entire thing isn't how ridiculously goofy the format is. It's the fact that PGA Tour tournaments allegedly mean something. We're all chasing that 82 number that Tiger and Sam Snead are tied at, and Scotty Scheffler just finished with more strokes than Sahith Theegala and Colin Morikawa, yet this will go down as a tournament win.
Why don't they do it like every other sport in the world where you can still win the season-long race and then there's also a winner of the final tournament.
They did that.
And what was wrong with that?
They didn't like the math equations that were happening on the final round at Eastlake, and they didn't like the dual trophy presentation. Everyone can remember back to 2018 when Tiger Woods won for the first time in 5 years at Eastlake, and the sea of people followed him down the 72nd fairway to the green, and that was at the Tour Championship, and he was presented with the Tour Championship trophy, but then somebody else was presented with the FedEx Cup, and there was this feeling amongst the PGA Tour that this was a real awkward moment to have two people being crowned at the same time.
Yeah. It sure isn't awkward now.
Right. I know. You're totally right.
You're starting a pro golfer at 10 under. Where in golf has this ever been done before? When has anyone ever, before they even pegged it in the ground, was given under par numbers? That's not a thing in golf. They just fucking made this up. It's not golf. It's never been golf. It's a horrible idea. And look at what happens.
And you're saying this as, to quote you, a big Scotty Scheffler guy.
Oh, yeah. I'm not like one of these NFL fan guys that has blinders on and a painted face and another man's jersey, can't see the nuance of any argument whatsoever because it's like, go Bills! What a joke. Yeah, big Scotty Scheffler guy. Also, big common sense guy. And the FedEx Cup is an absolute joke.
Yeah.
It's not golf. It's never been golf.
No, it's brand new. It started in 2008, and I think I made the point on a recent podcast that the FedEx Cup and the concept of playoffs in golf could not vote in this year's election. That's how new and young it is. So there's no history or legacy here. This is simply to create an entertainment product that quite simply has not been entertaining nor compelling since they created it. Now, I myself believe that I have a solution. It's not a great solution, but if you go into the comments section on Instagram these past 4, 5, 6 days, everyone is screaming, fix the format. But I have not heard a lot of ideas on how to fix the format. I think it starts with divorcing the FedEx Cup and the Tour Championship. You have to separate those two things. The FedEx Cup is, quote unquote, the season-long race. Its entire point, as we are told by its marketing and tagline, is to reward the best player of the season. That's what they want. But to me, that is different than a championship from the result of playoffs. You can have a team in any other sport have an incredible season over a longer period of time than a postseason, but that does not guarantee them any sort of advantage on the scoreboard for when they have to go and play their playoff games or championship games, right? So unmarry the FedEx Cup from the Tour Championship. And here's what I mean by that. If the FedEx Cup is to reward the best player from all season, then the FedEx Cup should be rewarded at the BMW Championship, which is the week before the Tour Championship. It should be given to the person with the most points. This season, that would have been Scotty Scheffler. So you give him the FedEx Cup at the BMW Championship for finishing the season with the most points. And hell, you give him the $25 million too, because that's part of the FedEx Cup. And then you also have a winner of the BMW Championship, which was Keegan Bradley. So Keegan Bradley gets the BMW Championship trophy for winning that event because it is considered a regular season event in my new format. And Scotty Scheffler gets the FedEx Cup and $25 million because he just finished the season, the regular season, with the most points. Boom. You're done. FedEx Cup awarded, BMW Championship awarded, and then you go to Eastlake. And you go to Eastlake with 32 32 players, the top 32. Right now you go with the top 30. I'm saying go to 32. Why? Because you are going to do 4 days of head-to-head sudden death match play. 16 matches on Thursday, head-to-head, seeded from number 1 versus 32, 2 versus 31, the way that any bracket sets up where your seed is dependent on how many points you have. On Friday, 8 matches. On Saturday, 4 matches. And on Sunday, you play the semifinals in the morning with the Final Four, and you play the head-to-head final championship later that afternoon. 36 holes of golf on Sunday. And Eastlake becomes the actual tour championship where the top 32 players play match play against each other for 4 days. There's no FedEx Cup. There's no points. All the points do in that case is determine your seeding. And then may the best man win in a sudden death bracket style like every single other playoff system that's ever been around. Is it perfect? No. But wedging playoffs into golf doesn't really work in the first place. I'm just trying to create something that's a little bit better and more fair. You want to reward the best player of the season? Great. Do it at the BMW. You want to determine who wins the quote-unquote tour championship? Do it in match play at Eastlake the next week.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. It's not a bad idea. But the reason why all of this is so silly and doesn't work is because you have all these powers that be trying so desperately to make golf a sport. And when you do, all you are doing is making it look silly. And Scotty said it best. The guy who has lapped the field is saying this is silly.
I think it's silly.
And it is. Dude, if I'm FedEx, I'm looking at this, the traction of it, all the squawking, the support it gets, the number 1 player in the world saying it's silly.
I think it's silly.
And they're spending how much money on the year for this? All of that money. And we still don't care? Everything that the PGA Tour, that specific entity, talking Jay Monahan and all of his stooges, everything that they have their thumbprint on, like their actual product. Show me where it's good. Give me one fucking example, one argument where that's good. Their whole thing is not great. They have the benefit of all the game's greats who have come before these new guys that they did their stuff on their tour. That's what they do have. But show me what they do good now.
Do well. The word you were looking for was well.
Adam, do good. Do gooder. Good.
By the way, let's not even touch the Creators Classic. I don't want to dignify that with our time.
You know what's great about it?
Come on.
I just want to say this. The term influencer became so cringe that they had to dig into the thesaurus and call themselves something else.
Creators.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah. Keep creating. Creators. Create me out of the picture. Creators. Oh, man. More like I got a bunch of followers and I started making shit to capitalize on it. That's what you created. You created a lane for simps to give you money. Good for you guys.
Good for you guys.
You got a chick on there who's doing softcore porn, and she's getting promoted by the PGA Tour. Unbelievable. I know how we'll get viewers. Let's give the best golfer of the year a fucking head start, and let's bring a bunch of narcissists in here and capitalize on their YouTube viewership. What a dumpster fire. Like I said, the PGA Tour is such a fucking joke.
It's bad right now.
It's
bad.
so fucking bad, dude.
It's bad. I love the PGA Tour, and I can't argue with you. It's bad right now.
It's fucking bad.
And then when you think we are a couple of months away from them debuting a simulator league at a community college.
Like, could it get worse?
Yeah. It could get worse, and it's going to get worse in January. Look, in my opinion, golf has a NASCAR problem right now. And what I mean by that is we have a game or a NASCAR situation, a sport that is played by individuals, but both of these entities looked around and said, how can we bring playoffs and points into our respective leagues? despite the fact that it makes no sense, because when you are in an individual game or sport like NASCAR or golf, you are playing the entire field. You are not going head-to-head against anyone. And similar to NASCAR, golf rolls out and debuts with their biggest event every single year at Augusta, the Masters. And yes, I know that there is a West Coast swing before it, but for most people, the season starts in April at Augusta, and it goes downhill quickly after that and never comes back. NASCAR debuts every single year with their Super Bowl, the Daytona 500, and it goes quickly downhill after that. So you have these two entities that are trying to infuse playoffs and points into individual formats. It does not work at all. And they both start with their best event of the year and then try to keep the stakes high without a good product the rest of the way. Golf has a NASCAR problem right now.
Hey, it's 4th of July. Come on down to the beach, fight the crowds. We're going to do the grand finale first, and then we're going to slow down the explosions and try to keep you here as long as possible.
Right.
Get the fuck out of here.
I do want to say that while golf social media can be less than elevated and at most times very hard to look at, I did see one comment that is going down as my comment of the year.
Mm.
Did you see the video of Scotty Scheffler placing his son Bennett in the top of the FedEx Cup for a photo?
No.
Okay, so he took his young son, who must be 4, 5, 6 months old by now, and placed him in the top of the cup like a bowl. So his son was sitting in the FedEx Cup. Great photo, great idea by Scotty. His son will be able to look at that forever. The top comment on the post was from someone I don't know. I wish I could attribute them, but I don't have it in front of me. It just read, "Nice of Scotty to get Xander Schauffele in the photo."
Oh, that is the comment of the year right
It's
there.
so
dude.
good.
Yeah.
It's so good.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. I want to read a YouTube comment from Craig Dunlap.
Oh, shit. I didn't see it.
So last week we posted an episode called Supported and Grateful. In that episode, I made a comment about Lars Lewis. Did you just wave to your dog?
Look, he's looking at me. What's up, buddy?
Do you think he understands a wave?
Look at him. Of course he does.
I saw a great bumper sticker the other day. You should have it on the back of your car. It says, "Tell your dog I said hi."
What's up, Arnie?
Anyway, last week on the podcast, we talked about our party here where Lars Lewis saw a instrumental jazz band and decided to grab a foreign microphone and start doing karaoke.
My turn.
In the recollection of that story, you said, "While I would never do that myself, I sure have considered it. In fact, one time in Big Bear, I was tempted to go up and play the drums during a break from a heavy metal rock band. But you did not do it because you said on the podcast that you felt you would not have the support of the people that were with you at the time in Big Bear."
By support, you mean fighting support.
Yes.
Just in case I was going to get my ass kicked.
Right. Now,
Which it looked like I probably would have.
Now, Craig Dunlap commented on YouTube, "I was going to light Engle up if he didn't mention Big Bear when you asked about crashing the stage. But I will confirm that there were 3 bros that would not have had his back after a long couple of days in the cabin."
Yeah.
Now,
Yeah.
a lot of questions here. So
Craig would have had my back, and I knew he would have.
Okay.
But I knew that Craig and I wouldn't have been able to take on the whole band.
But what Craig is insinuating with this comment, he says, "I will confirm that there were people that would not have had Engle's back after a long couple of days in the cabin." What does that mean? Did you get on the wrong side of the people you were staying with because they were in closed quarters with you for 72 hours?
No. Yes. But it's more nuanced than that. Craig and I were in that same cabin together. And as you know, when Craig and I get together, there can a lot of times be an alliance that's formed. And the alliance was us versus them. And it quickly divided the house. And it was me and Craig versus the 3 other guys.
What does that mean?
It just means that, like, you know, we're drinking, hanging out, talking shit, and some guys can't handle it like Craig and I can. So then it turns into us really punching down on these guys a little bit.
I'm going to guess that you guys started this. You started the shit talk. You started the dynamic. You started the alliance.
It wasn't shit talk. What it came down to was we were having discussions, and at that time, those 3 dudes worked for one guy. And the guy was rich, and he was buying up properties, and these 3 guys were his crew that fixed up the properties. But they just made an hourly wage, and this guy made all the profit on the flip. But they were trying to argue with us that they're partners. And me and Craig were having a field day trying to explain to these idiots that you are not partners, you are employees. You know? Partners would mean that when this house got flipped and there was $300,000 on the table, that you guys be splitting this up. You work for this guy. So that stirred the house up a little bit, and there was a little bit of angst amongst the weekend. So when it came time for me to jump the stage and hit the skins, I knew that only Craig would have had my back.
Because you spent the weekend denigrating people's careers and business arrangements and agreements. And
no, I spent the weekend educating people on what a partnership is.
And I'm sure you did it in a very tactful and graceful way.
100%.
Yeah. And I'm sure having Craig as your echo chamber and hype man really helped the cause. And you guys didn't completely grind these dudes down to a nub.
It might have been hard to hear it at the time, but those 3 guys finally left their dictator and went on to bigger and better things. So I'd like to think that I helped them, Adam. Really?
That's incredible that you could not go fulfill your dream as John C. Reilly in Step Brother and play drums for an entire crowd because you had spent the weekend insulting people that you were staying in a house with.
Let's be honest, and Craig will back me up on this. I'll have to ask him to comment so it's public. If I was nice to those 3 guys that weekend and none of that ever happened, they still wouldn't have had my back.
Who are these guys and why were you with them?
They're just not fighters.
Okay, that was the only YouTube comment I wanted to read. But I do want to thank everyone for the massive amount of support throughout the month of August. Thanks for listening to the show on YouTube. Thank you for pre-ordering the vacation or golf bag. Thank you for watching the 16th annual Nation Desert Classic recap video on YouTube. And thank you so much for listening to this podcast. Of course, thank you to Howie's Market, the greatest grocery store in the world, happens to be located right here in San Gabriel Valley. Check them out. Make the trip on the weekend. Saturdays and Sundays, they are barbecuing out front. It's amazing. You walk through those doors, best meat, seafood, wine, beer, and liquor you can find. And we encourage you to go and find it at Howie's Market. So thank you to Howie's for the support. We're going to be back in just a matter of days because it's already Wednesday and we tape this show on Monday. So we will talk to you then.
Really?